on Saturdays is things, for people to be with their families, and to run errands and stuff. So we really appreciate you joining us this afternoon. My name is Tato Bilang, as Tebello has introduced me, and I'm one of the wave makers here in the South African chapter. And it is my honor today, this afternoon, to be hosting you, to be the MC, to be the program director, whatever terminology you want to use. But basically, I'll be leading this meeting this afternoon. So welcome, relax, have a grab your glass of water, cup of tea, whatever that makes you relax, but you're very welcome. This afternoon is really a special day for us here in the South African chapter. For me, particularly my story as a girl who grew up in a rural village, I would see my mother and other women in the village coming together and working together, solidifying towards bringing some sort of changes, positive changes in the community and in the village. And I was encouraged by their tenacity, by their bravery, because it was not easy, especially in those days where, women don't just, wake up and say, we're going to do this. They would create projects from nothing, right? And they would use their bare hands to create something out of this, whether it's their art, whether they collect raw materials and do beautiful art materials to sell, to raise funds for whatever project they wanted to do. But my mother was one of those women in the community who would, work with others to really try and make some changes happen. So this transformation, bringing about change, is something that has inspired me as a little girl. And for me, that then brings us to our theme today, which is reshaping, right? We saw fit as a South African chapter to come together and reshape our chapter. And when you look it up, to reshape really is about bringing something to new form, or bringing it to become something new. And although we know what we're about, we know what we stand for, what we are not about, it was imperative for us to just come together and say, let's reshape, let's reorganize ourselves. We all know what 2020 was for us, for everyone globally, and that necessitated somebody to take a step back and say, let's reevaluate things. Let's look at how things are today. What is it that we can do better in the spirit of bringing living or bringing change in the world that will make a world a better place, in the true female wave of change style. So yeah, that's me introducing the theme. And as a new mother as well, I worry about, the kind of world that my son is going to grow up in. I worry about his health. I worry about his education. I worry about the environment that, I raise him in, the economy, how everything else, impacts the economy. And that aligns with the 5 themes that, the pillars in female wave of change that we're really using to try and make the change here globally. And some of the colleagues will talk about that later. But we need to take a step back and say, what are the things that we can do differently? How can we transform? And what are the things that, as we constantly reflect, rethink, and refocus, what is it that we can do? Because it's all part of growth. If we don't rethink, refocus, we're not growing. So that's part of today. But that's just me. It was just to position the theme for today. And to say #charity begins at home. So in the spirit of me being a new mother, in the spirit of a new year and this reshaping, we're saying we're reshaping, but we want to start here at home. We want to start from the grassroots, and there's no better way than to start at home. So that is why we're here today, to collectively say, as we step out of this session, at the end of this session today, what are we committing to do, right? As a collective, as individuals, what are we undertaking to do to try and leave a world better than what we have found it? So that's us, right? And just from a logistics perspective, we're going to treat this as a webinar. So if you've got comments or questions, please use the chat box. Tebello, myself, and Lumka will be watching and monitoring the chat box. We will try and respond as promptly as possible without any disruptions, because we also want to make it a smooth program. And then, so yeah, please feel free to engage with us, connect with us. Let's make it a really awesome event and cool event. So welcome everybody. Just to quickly go through our agenda so that you know what's coming. What I just did was the opening and welcome, and that's the most that you'll hear from me. And then we'll have Ostebelo, I call his tips. Tebelo Mukema will come and tell, is it Mukema? Mukema will come and talk to us about the purpose and the objectives of Female Wave of Change. So she'll talk about the structure. She'll come from a global, then move to the South African chapter, so that if you're new to this movement, you get to have an understanding of what is it really about, what are the efforts that we put in to make the change, and how we are aligning ourselves to do that. Then we will have, again, Ostebelo, as I said, talking about the structure of the organization, how we structured here and how do we operate. Then we have, oh my God, when I talk about Mom Yvonne, yeah, but you'll see when I introduce her. Then we have our wise mama, Mom Yvonne, to come and talk about some of our achievements here in the South African chapter, so that you get a feel of what has already been done and the direction that we are taking. Then we have from there Lunka, to talk about, now that we've talked about what we have done, what is the future looking like? This year, what are those focus areas that we really want to work on? How are we going to split ourselves and conquer and do some of the stuff that we want to do? And then we will have a Q&A session, and that will be via the chat. We will have some of the wave makers and everybody else who's involved in the structure really answer some of the questions that you might have. And I will facilitate that session. And then Sophia, our bright and energetic wave maker, will talk about the next steps. You know, there's no point having such an event or a meeting and there's no next steps. We can't just end it. We need to say, this is how we're moving forward collectively, and some of the commitments that we're making. And then we close, right? So hopefully this is a good 2 hours. I already had 8 minutes of my moment. Part of my job as well is to keep time. So Ostebelo, Mami Yvonne, Lumka, I'm looking at all of you, please, and Sophia. When I raise my pink pen, your time is running out. It's time for you to wrap up. But you know, let's not do it abruptly. But yeah, thank you guys. It's gonna be a great afternoon. From me, your host, Tato Bilang, welcome. And without any waste of time, I'm going to... Technology, these things happen, right? Disruptions happen all the time, and we have to ride along and accommodate it. So yes, thank you so much. So without waste of time, I'm going to hand over to Tebelo to talk to us about the purpose and objectives of the movement.
Wonderful. Welcome. Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, this time I'm only going to say good afternoon because we are all in the same timeline. Recently, I've just been in events where I'm always, saying good morning, good evening, or good afternoon. But today we are all in the same timeline. Tato, thank you so much for that, wonderful introduction. And for all of us that have been involved with Female Wave of Change, over time, this is really, how can I put it? This is really a milestone for us that, one, we are all here in 2021, and two, we are all still blessed, to still be alive and to be able to share this time with our families and the loved ones and, this community. So as people come through, if I could just ask that if by any chance you go in and out of the meeting, when you come back into the meeting, please just immediately mute yourself. That way, we're not getting any background noise. So I'm going to go into the presentation immediately. And yeah, once again, thank you everybody for taking the time to be with us. So what we thought we would do, because we've had quite a number of people that have been asking us about the organization and what is this organization about. We thought as we start the session, we will, would like to just give you a sense of what the purpose and the objectives of Female Wave of Change are. We give you a bit of history about Female Wave of Change, and then also talk about the history of the South Africa chapter. So if I hope everybody can be able to see the slides. We are sharing, by the way, we are recording the session, so it will be available for those that may not have been able to make it. Okay, so just to give you a sense then about this organization, Female Wave of Change is an organization that was founded in 2017 in the Netherlands, by two women who said, there's a change that needs to take place in the world. And if women are going to be participating and this change needs to happen, then all of us as women, we need to come together and make the change happen. Currently, the organization is represented in over 50 countries worldwide. And this number is growing. Every time we engage with people about the organization, the question is, are we represented? Do you have people that are representing, my country? So we are over 50 countries in the world. In Africa at this stage, we are represented in, the countries highlighted, the Nigeria, Namibia, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Morocco, Tunisia, Mozambique. We are having people from Zambia and Cameroon, and Ghana that are also coming in and indicating their interest to be part of the organization. And as we continue to work, we're engaging with them and being able to look and say, okay, is there somebody that can be able to come in and help us achieve, the objectives of the organization? When people come into the organization, there are several ways that we have been growing the organization. We have first what we call our global ambassadors. Our global ambassadors are people that are representing the interest in sharing the message about Female Wave of Change all across the globe. We also have another group of women that's called the Circle of Wise Women. These are women that together with the founders get to engage once in a while in terms of being able to say, where is the organization going? What are the challenges that we are dealing with and how do we address them? We then also have ambassadors in those 50 countries. So in every country, there is firstly an ambassador who represents the interest of Female Wave of Change in that country. And they would then be followed by people that we call wave makers. Now, what is important is for everyone to understand that in Female Wave of Change, we are all volunteering. None of us are making money out of this. We are all here because we are interested in the development of women. We are interested in the voice of women being heard. We're interested in women coming together, to ensure that they put their heads and hands and minds and spirit together to be able to create a change in the world. At this stage, on a global level as well, and most as well in the local chapters, membership is free. So when you come and you join us and you support us, it is for free. All that we are asking is, can you bring your knowledge, your expertise, and your network, because your network as well. Bring your network so that we can be able to grow this organization. How has the organization been growing? It's been growing mainly through our participation in various working groups. Every single time there is one working group that is being started on a global level, and it's up to you as an individual to see whether you want to participate in that particular working group. As the local chapters, we are also looking to be growing more working groups in our various countries so that we can have more women participating in the organization. Furthermore, about Female Wave of Change, what is the mission of this organization? Our key mission as an organization is that we want to create and grow a group of female change makers and leaders. this component of change makers and leaders is very, very, very critical. Because when you come and work with us, when you come and participate with us, when you come and want to contribute in the organization, it's really around saying, what kind of change do we want to see? And how are you coming to help us create this change in the world? And what is it that we are doing in creating the change in the world? We want to build bridges, right? We want to share knowledge with each other and our own experiences. And also in doing that, we want to be able to create new opportunities together. Now, the beauty, the beauty of this organization is that we do this most of the time without anybody giving us money. But because we've got the connection, because we've got the passion, because we've got the experience and expertise, we're able to pull things together and work together. I highlight the issue of money because I find, you know, when you talk to a lot of people, especially being a nonprofit organization, people sometimes want to come and join this organization expecting that we're getting lots of money and they are going to be getting money for their own businesses or whatever. But with Female Wave of Change, since its inception in 2017, I think if there's any money that we've received, we get to 10,000 rand, you know, that we have ever received, you know, on a local level and to some extent on a global level. So how do we then work to achieve, you know, this particular mission of creating and growing the change makers and leaders? We do that by connecting with women from all walks of life. It does not matter whether you are a corporate person, whether you are a CEO, whether you are somebody that heads up an NGO, whether you are a house executive, but there is something that you would like to add, we connect with you. So ours is not about, you know, working with women from only certain groups, but we're connecting with women from all walks of life. Also, we do that through providing online access to our knowledge, our experiences, and the people that we interact with. Most of us that have been in the organization have seen the growth happening very much on an online basis. If there's ever an organization that taught me how to become more effective, you know, in terms of using technology, it's this organization. Because one day I'm in a meeting with women from all over the world, and we're all using Zoom as we are doing today. On another day, I'm in a meeting and we are doing training, and again, we are having to use, you know, technology to be able to access all of that information. So online access of information, online access in terms of the experience that people are sharing is also quite critical. Also, how are we connecting these change makers and leaders? By bringing women together to connect, grow, and to create. And we've seen this happen, you know, as I said earlier, when you come into the organization, all that we're really asking is, what knowledge can you share with us? What are the experiences that you want to share with us so that we create this change and we build, you know, bridges together? What is also very, very critical, and this is something that attracted me and is keeping me in this organization even to this day, is the fact that as women, as Female Wave of Change, this particular point here at the bottom, this is very critical for me. We are not fighting the past. We are not fighting men. We are not debating and arguing with men. We are creating the future. And if men want to be part of us creating a new future, that's wonderful. They join us and we work together. So you will find in a lot of the conversations that we have in the organization, it's less about what has happened in the past or what is not working. It's more about, we know there are a lot of things that are not working in the world. What is it that we're going to do about creating this future that we're saying is the future that we want to leave for our children? And I think being women, one of the biggest, you know, attractions for Female Wave of Change for me is the fact that anything and everything that we are doing because we want to leave a legacy for our children. We want to leave a legacy where the children are able to say, because my mother, my aunt, my sister, my niece, my, you know, cousin was involved in that organization, this is the change that I am able to live in. This is the value that they have left for me in this world. And I am going to take the baton and I'm going to run and continue and create more change, in the world. So that is really just, okay, so let's go into the achievement. So that's just what I wanted to position to give you a very broad sense of the organization. So what have been the things that we've achieved so far as an organization? As I said, it was launched in 2017 in the Netherlands. We saw an increase in representation worldwide in 2018. By the end of 2018, I think we were sitting at about 25 countries that were, where Female Wave of Change was represented. By the end of 2019, we were sitting at more than 35 countries where we were represented. In 2019, we had our first global conference, and I'm proud to say that together with the team of South Africa and the global team, we were able to bring that conference here to our country. And it is one conference that I think anybody that was part of that still talks about, to say, wow, what a encouraging, what a motivating, what a refreshing, conference that we had here in South Africa. Also in 2019, the organization launched globally, a transformational journey, which is almost like a training program that has been launched, which has been running online, and it is called Women Leading in Change. Because through that program, we recognized that most of us have something that we want to add. Most of us have something that we want to contribute towards making the change in the world. And most of us, just need that one little push, to be able to take up that baton and to be able to do the work that we need to do. And so some of us have participated in the Women Leading in Change program. And I have to advise you, when you attend Women Leading in Change, transformational journey program, you make changes in your life. You don't finish that program and stay the same. I mean, when I concluded that program, I left my employment. I then decided there is more that I want to do in this world, and I need to be able to do that, without any challenges. Some people, even in their employment, when they have attended Women Leading in Change, they come out and they say, you know what, I am going to take up the position that I have been meant and I have been given to take in that world, the worlds of work that I am in. In 2020, we were able to also launch a further program. So we've got 2 development programs that are running. The second one is the Reshaping the Future, which is kind of a self-leadership program. So people that come and want to participate, in the organization also have the opportunity to participate in these programs as they run. In fact, about a week ago, the 2021 Women Leading in Change Transformational Journey program started. And we're already sitting at about 25 women from across the world that are participating in this program. In 2020, what is it that we have done? We have also in 2020 had a very successful virtual program, because we know, COVID came along, and all the plans that we had that people would be traveling or doing whatever, we realized they were not happening. So we ended up having a global virtual conference, which was also a huge success, because we had women from all over the world that participated in that conference. In 2020 as well, because of the kind of challenges that people were facing, and because we were all dealing with this new pandemic and new way of living and working, we then also presented almost at some stage, I remember it was on a weekly basis, where we had online sessions, around self-help, around providing prayer and meditation sessions, because people were really being challenged. And especially as women, one moment you were able to separate your role as a mother and your role as somebody that works. All of a sudden, these roles were now happening all at the same time, and you still had, to have the power and the energy to be able to succeed. So we also did quite a lot. I know that towards the end of the year, we were now providing these sessions on a on a monthly basis. And as and when they are requested, we will be continuing with them. In 2021, what is it that we are focusing on? It is the implementation of the strategy that came out of the Global Virtual Conference, and also we are launching our new logo. So just to quickly share with you in terms of the strategy, these are the 10 elements that out of the conference we said, if you want to consider yourself a change maker, these are the things that you could be doing on a daily basis. And I'm going to, because I've seen the MC has said to me, my time is coming up. I'm not going to go through everything. I'll just touch on some of them. So for example, what is it that we are asking you to do if you're going to be a change maker? We're saying that you need to lead, you know, from the heart, and you need to lead out of love. What is it that we are asking you to be able to do? We're asking you to be conscious of the impact of your decision and the impact that they have on the current, you know, generation and future generation. What is it that we are asking you to do if you're going to be a change maker? We ask you to educate yourself, to read, take action, be part of any journey, whatever journey that you know you want to be working on. What is it that we're asking you to do? We want you to choose a healthy lifestyle that you know takes into account the physical elements, mental elements, and spiritual elements. So that those are just some of the things. In fact, what we've done is we've encouraged people to print this and put it somewhere where when they wake up every day, they're able to see it. Because unless you see it, unless you live it, you know, being a change maker is just in the head, you know, and you're not able to live it and in terms of your spirit. So that is something that came out of the conference, and we're encouraging everybody to be able to do. Now, it also gives me great pleasure, not pleasure to share with you that we are now, as of this month, we are launching, as you can see at the top of the screen, this is the logo that we have always had from the beginning when the organization was started. This is now our new logo, and it will be officially, you are the first ones to see it. On Tuesday, it will officially be launched, you know, with the rest of the global community. And we're quite excited, you know, about this logo, because it's really around creating the wave, still continuing to create the wave, but we do that together. We don't only create the wave separately, we do that together. So that's just some information about the organization as a whole. And I will leave it there for now and hand over to Tato.
Wow, that was a mouthful. Thank you so much. My job is very difficult. It's difficult because all these things are very important and necessary to communicate, but also stuff that I really am passionate about. So for you, I mean, I should have stopped you 5 minutes ago, but I was like, no, but that's important. But that's important. She needs to communicate that. But I just want to say that, Tibbs, you didn't tell me the secret that when you left employment, what happened? So now I know what to do. I'm kidding. All right, cool. So thank you for sharing that information with us. I think we've all learned so much about the organization, about the movement globally, where it started, and where we are today. You know, that really provided us with more information about what is the organization about and what are the things that are burning issues in us. I liked what you say when you say we all have something to contribute. And that's another thing that I love about this movement. It's really, it's ignorant of your status level, your education level. It really doesn't consider any of that, because we believe that fundamentally all these experiences that we talk about, it need not be from formal education, right? Everybody has got something to contribute. As women, when we come together, something fundamentally shifts in the world. And that is what we're banking on. And that's the power that we want to bring from this thing, all right? So really, really appreciate that. Mommy Yvonne, are you ready?
Ready, willing, and inspired, Tato, our great and gorgeous program director.
Thank you. Timelo wants to just cover one more thing before I come to you, Mommy Yvonne. Just give me 1 minute. Over to you.
Guys, everybody, sorry for that. I just realized there was one element I did not share in my presentation. So for those of you that then are asking, so you've heard about the global level, tell us about the South Africa chapter. So the South Africa chapter has been registered as of January 2019. We are registered as a non-profit organization, and this is our registration number for those of you that in future may want to interact with us and work with a non-profit organization. We also have a bank account, that we created, and we're looking to add funds so that we can be able to achieve, objectives with the South Africa chapter. So we do have a bank account. And what is it that we are responsible for? We are responsible to grow this wave in South Africa and also to raise funds so that we're able to achieve, objectives that we want to achieve. Who are the team members in South Africa that are involved? So there's myself as the current ambassador of Female Wave of Change in South Africa. We also have a circle of wise women who are South African women who are participating on the global level. And that is Mam Yvonne Khame and Dr. Lumka Manele. We also have this team of wave makers. Now, again, remember when I started, I said, we're talking to women and working with women from all walks of life. So as you can see with the wave makers that we have here, we've got Khomotso Mashalane, who's an HR director in an organization, Paballo Makgeta, who is, one of our civil servants, but more importantly, she's an author, much more importantly, she's an author. We've got Tlaki Nyatumba, who's a humanitarian, Tato Belang, who's our MC today, a leadership coach, Tuto Sitlogelo, who's also a civil servant, based in the Free State, Mahauta, who's a lodge owner. She's recently launched, a lodge for herself. Mahlapa Mkandawire, who's an entrepreneur and very active on social media. Flonis Kwasana, who's also an author, who is a coach as well, as in a personal coach, lifestyle coach. Megan Nyatumba, who's a journalist, and Patu Matsilwana, who is an entrepreneur. Now, the challenge that we have for all of you that are here, all of us here are based in Gauteng. We want to grow this organization in other parts of the country. So if you are willing to come in, work without expecting, payment for now, but help us to grow and connect us with women in your province or in your region, talk to us. We want to grow further into the rest of South Africa. This is not a Gauteng only organization. Also, you will note, we come from a particular background, right? Most of us, all of us, are women of African descent. This is not an organization for Black women only. This is an organization for women from all across our country. So we're also challenging you that, if this is an organization you want to be part of, whether you are coming from our white, colored, or Indian communities, talk to us. Let us work together in terms of growing the organization and creating the changes in this country. Thank you, Tato.
Thank you, Ambassador Tebs. I actually forgot to mention that, when I introduced you, I did a terrible mistake. I apologize. To introduce you as the ambassador of the South African chapter, doing a fantastic job leading us. I think we're all grateful and blessed to be under your leadership. Thank you so much. Mom Yvonne, apologies for that. We are flexible and fluid. So we run back to you, and thank you, Mom Yvonne. Mom Yvonne is one of the, as Estebello introduced, Circle of Wise Women, and she always brings her wisdom, calms us down, pray with us, pray for us, meditate with us. And so we're truly blessed to have Mom Yvonne, with us here. We're truly blessed that we can just pick up a phone and call Mom Yvonne. So Mom Yvonne, thank you. Please do the honors.
Thank you so much, Tato. I must say that I feel so young because I'm in the company of young, gifted, talented, and awesome committed leaders. And to that, I'm grateful. And thank you to each and everyone who has joined us today. We value your time and we can't wait to ride on the wave of change with you. Sibelo, you've done a good job in expressing, you know, why we do things the way we do in our local female wave of change. And I have to say that I got so inspired joining you. There were very few people. And even though I was asking myself questions all the time, but how will that work? It's just the Tatos, the Lilies, the Ruth, the Komozo, but the calling and the vision is big. And before I go any further, I'd like to share the great lesson that you taught all of us as our leader at Develop. And this is the wisdom that I also draw from the book of Teams, that what if you could combine the agility, the adaptability and cohesion of a small team with the power and resources of a giant organization? And you did. That was the success of our global conference for the first time in 2019. And we continued to do that online in 2021. So to our participants, and even to those who are not here but who are willing, I'd like to say, now you are aware of who we are, and you are learning lessons from how this small team mobilized strategic partners to lay a very solid foundation so we as women can stand up and be the change that we would like to see. And I think at the beginning, Tato, you reminded me that, yeah, it takes a village to raise great women. And as you were speaking, the echo of Abo Mam Emma Mashinini, Mam Winnie Mandela, Abo Mam Albertina Sisulu, Ellen Kuzwayo, Abo Loretta Ngobo. Those are the women who grounded us, who gave us the values. But there's something special that we learned from them. They were always inspired by the spirit of Ubuntu. I am because you are. You are because I am. And unless you are, I cannot be. But we've also seen something extraordinary from them, the power of unity, the power of intention, standing up and say, like Tebelo has put it very beautifully, that our belief as the female wave of change said, yes, the past has happened, but can we please rise above adversity and our previous challenges and be here, because the past is gone and tomorrow is not here. So we can all do it. So we've also been supported by great leaders in the past few years who are speakers, MCs, and added so much value in our journey. And let us just share with you some of our South African chapter achievements that we did not only by ourselves, but with so many people who supported us. For instance, the inaugural meeting in March 2018, which planted such an evergreen seeds, and we launched the SA chapter, and that coincided with the International Women's Day celebration. We also held a very impactful youth event, because we believe so much, like one author once said, that a youth are not useless, they are just not used. And they are not careless, they're just not cared for. So we enjoy tapping into the power, the skills, the knowledge, and the experience in listening to our young people. And hence we held that very successful, impactful session with 50 young females and males engaging with professionals. We also had a fantastic Women in Health in November 2018. We believe that, you know, education and health are always the strength and the wealth of any nation. So health issues for women were supported and sponsored by Resumed Health. So you can see how when the will is there, then the law of attraction takes place. We also had a Women's Rights Day, so which Ma'am Angie Mugwetla so beautifully put it into perspective and inspired us to act and make a difference. And that reminding us that women have rights too, because we are human as well. So when we talk human rights, you're also talking about the importance of knowing the rights of women, and not only that, and implementing them. We believe so much in the power of story, because stories never die, they live forever. And it is with sadness, but also with joy and gratitude, that we remember what we did with women of substance, with Mam Thandi Ndlovu, who passed away. But she left us with so much wisdom, gave us a guidance and a direction using the power of story, and shared a very interesting things with us. And perhaps at this moment, we'll just take a moment and remember all those great women and men who walked the journey with us, who are not with us today, even though they are in spirit, and we wish them to rest in peace. As you can see, that when we celebrated our great International Women's Day, we're supported by Abo Bob Mabena. May he also rest in peace. And that was a very impactful session as well. We also had a Youth Month celebration. As we already said, that it's always important to hand over the baton to the young ones, but also to listen to what they have to say. And of course, we've got our Women Leading in Change transformation program, which empowers women to take responsibility and be accountable to drive their own change. But we help them and guide them and inspire them to start by leading the inner world, because when the inner world is in order, then the world around us will be in order too. So this is indeed a time to accelerate positive change and deliver on our mandate across all the pillars that you have heard about, because change is opportunity. In 2019, we also had a global conference, Women Leading to Accelerate Change and Achieving Tangible Results, because you know that, yes, talk and no action, it's just a dream. We need to take action. So that is why we enjoyed beautiful moments with those 150 participants from Africa, Australia, the Caribbean, Europe, and North America. And I have to tell you that we've got a great story to tell about the results and the reward of that conversation and engagement and listening to each other, embracing diversity, and knowing that we all have a story to tell. We are all authors of our lives, and we all have great gifts and talents to give. In 2020, we went on a global visual conference, reshaping the future and accelerating positive change together. Because it is very important that whilst we are doing things for ourselves and for each other, but we should think about the legacy we're leaving behind. 100 years later, who will be sitting here? I don't know if they will still be online in their engagement, maybe on something else. And what will they be remembering about us? And maybe somebody will say, the Tatos, the Maggies, the Ingans left a green seed for us to grow. So those are all the moments of greatness that we had together since our launch. and which is a reminder that, you know, when we come together, unity is power. And we've got what we've always been looking for. So let's just awaken that inner power, embrace each other, have a clear vision and mission, and know that we are not alone. Embrace each and every person. That will give us a value. And as I say, that we will go stronger and we'll achieve what we'd like to achieve. So let it happen. Change is real.
Change is real. Wow, Yvonne, I must commend you for sticking to time. You did better than Tebello this time. It is such a moment of celebration. It's a rare moment.
I learned from the young ones that every second counts. This second, this minute, this hour will never come back again. So
indeed, yeah. But thank you, Mama. Yeah, this is a reflection that I was talking about, you know, that it's important to just take a step back and look at the journey and the road we have worked. Because sometimes we get so caught up in, you know, in the doing of things, and we do this, and we forget to just have a helicopter view and say, hey, but we've achieved so much, right? And this is what this is all about. I think Mami Vaughan used the word unity and collaboration so many times in her talk, and that is what's important. Truly, like an African proverb that says, if you wanna go far, go alone. But if you wanna go far, what does it say? If you wanna go, something. If you wanna achieve much, do it alone. But if you wanna go far, then do it together. And you can't do this alone. It is a mammoth task, and we do it bit by bit. The important part, as Tebello said, is not to look into what has happened, is to look into the future, is to be positive, is to try and transform, right? We look at what's not working and say, where are the opportunities for us to influence? Where within a small sphere of influences, within our families, within our small communities, what is it that I can do as an individual with one other person, with two other people, that we can bring the change that we really want to see to make this a better world. So thank you, Mami Vaughan. I hope that looking at those things that we have achievement as the South African chapter is inspiring you to join this movement. It's giving you a glimpse of the stuff that we really do to try and make the change in the world. And as you would have seen, all of us have got full-time things that we're busy with. We are involving ourselves in this part-time, and it's really the commitment that we want. Everybody has got a burden. I believe that everybody has got something that's burdening you. You know, one of the societal issues or whatever, it is that burden, it is that fire, it is that drive that we are seeking, that we want to bring here, that we together, collectively, we can make an impact. So thank you. And then moving on with our program, we're moving on to Lumka to talk about the proposed plans for 2021. As I said, we've reflected, we've stopped and say, this is what we've done. We understand that, you know, the world has fundamentally changed. You know, our landscapes look a lot different than what it was 2 years ago, even 10 months ago. So what is it that when we look at what we have, what is it that we can do in this year, aligning ourselves with the 5 pillars globally? Lumka, over to you.
Thank you very much, Tato. Afternoon, everyone. And thank you so much for investing your time in coming together to reshape the future. I am always so encouraged when I see women coming together to bring about the change that they really want to see. So last year's conference, as it was mentioned, focused on 5 key areas, and we continued beyond the conference to focus on these 5 key areas. And these areas are the environment, humanity, education, health, and economic. So my task today is just to give a brief introduction of these key areas, which are the key focus, which we call the Female of Change pillars. And my task has been made so easy because Tibelo and my Yvonne have already touched on so many things. And in the interest of time, I am not going to be repeating some of the things that have been said already. I would like to introduce the humanity pillar. This is the pillar that forms, this pillar is the heart of all the activities of the organization. And that's why I had to start with it. And the pillar's focus is on this goal number 3 and number 5 of the 17 Sustainable Development 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, which are the good health and well-being, as well as the gender equality. Also, the pillar, one of the activities is that the pillar aim to create a strong support system, which is so needed, especially during this time when we are faced with this pandemic. So many people are really in need of our support, as other people are losing their jobs and other people are having other difficulties that may be coming with the pandemic. And beyond the pandemic, we always need each other. And lastly, one of the other things that the pillar has been focusing on is the other pandemic that we've been dealing with, which is the gender-based violence, as well as human trafficking. At the global level, this pillar is led by Adriana, and locally, the pillar is led by Sofia Skosana. So all those who can identify, who already are doing so much work, who are already doing work in line with the things that the pillar is looking at, you are really welcome to join the pillar and add your expertise in this pillar in moving forward the organization's plans. The next pillar that I'd like to introduce is the environment pillar. The first focus of the pillar is on sustainable living. This means prioritizing the use of natural and renewable resources instead of creating excessive waste and depleting the resources for our future generations. As we know that without a healthy, healthy earth, no other living organisms can be healthy. So in this regard, the environmental pillar will be working closely with the health pillar in, in ensuring the sustainable living. The other focus is on sustainable business. These are businesses which employs business practices that are economically viable, socially responsible, and environmentally friendly. So this pillar endeavors to develop ecopreneurs, which are entrepreneurs that use creative ways to use the environmental challenges that we have to develop or to sell or to create, products or services that are environmentally friendly. At global level, the pillar is led by Tanya, and at the local level is led by myself. The third pillar is the education pillar. As it was alluded now that it takes a village to raise a child, and therefore Female Wave of Change also encourages and invites women to come together to champion, to redefine the education to accelerate transformation. At global level, this is just one of the focus. And also obviously at locally in South Africa, we need to also look at the obstacles that our learners are facing and to come together to play our part in coming up with solutions, to support our education system. The other focus is the Women Leading in Change program, which has been mentioned before. South Africa is also looking at having our own local program. And this program is looking at empowering women. And so the pillar is looking for women who have the experience or expertise in training or developing leadership, leadership programs to join in and lend a hand as we trying to make the success of our program. At global, we have Yvonne leading the pillar. and locally you have Auspapalo. So for those who have interest in education and those who want to make impact or contribute in ensuring that our learners get the best education that can actually deal with the challenges that we have, not only intellectual problems, but also education that is also responsive to our social ills. We also have the health pillar. Faced with this pandemic where even now there are still no specific treatment or any proven effective preventative measures, our own bodies, our own capacity to fight diseases remains the leading defensive mechanism. And hence the health pillar is focusing on self-care, so that people can also be able to take care of themselves to ensure that they survive the pandemic. We've seen also how our health workers have been overwhelmed, and it gets more important now than ever that people know how to look after themselves. This pillar has been very active globally in terms of creating awareness, using all kinds of platforms, and we continue to do that. And we're hoping that being active is also going to continue even in our South African chapter. And we call upon all those who have experience and also expertise in health and wellness matters to come and join the pillar. Globally, the pillar is led by myself, and locally is led by our STAG, the Wavemaker, South Africa. Okay. Lastly, but not least, as we create new opportunities together, our economy pillar, we're looking at replicable business models. And these are business models that, have proven to be successful in other geographic areas, and businesses that can be replicable and be transferred to other geographic areas. We're looking at skill building education programs and also startup incubators. We know that, most businesses, startup businesses, they fail, especially in the first year. I hear when I look at research, up to 90% of businesses fail.
How many people apply?
You can continue. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. So the startup incubators, they help individuals, to get the support and the entrepreneurial motivation, and also support from other entrepreneurs to actually reduce the risk of the failure. And this pillar, globally and locally, is led by none other than our STIPS, the ambassador of South Africa. Okay. So if you look at all these pillars, everything is connected, right? They are all interconnected, and one pillar cannot do without the other. I mean, if I can make an example, we can try and solve one of the social ills in South Africa, where we have the young boys that are wandering on the streets, getting high on drugs. Imagine if you can have those boys being collected by a group of women who then educate them, giving them skills of making business out of the waste that is around us, creating beautiful things out of that waste and selling it. So already we have all the 5 pillars there. Humanity comes in when we give dignity to these boys. Education comes in when we empower them with skills to make their own income, which is now the economic pillar coming in, as well as the health comes in, because when they use this waste, then that means the healthy earth, which means healthy individuals, healthy people, as well as their own health, and the pride of knowing that they are doing something good for themselves. So this is just an example of how these pillars can actually come together and we create something beautiful for the future. Now, as we are faced again with the pandemic, and we know other people are so despondent, other people have lost their loved ones, the spirits are low, I would like to encourage people by quoting the Stanford economist who once said, "Crisis is a terrible thing, to waste, right? Crisis moves us beyond the inherent challenge that the crisis is bringing, to look for the opportunities to do better. COVID-19 gave most of us an opportunity to play a very active role in the education of our kids, as we were forced to do some homeschooling and to also actually appreciate educators, especially the lower grades. So anyone who has a grade R to grade 4, kids will, will actually agree with me to say they really have a big task. They have a big job on their hands. You know, the COVID-19 also made us to look, or forces us to look at the stewardship, at our stewardship of the natural environment. As we know that most outbreaks, they can be linked to how, they can actually be linked to how we actually handle our natural environment. And most parts of the world during this pandemic, they did afford Mother Nature a moment to breathe. On economy, it forced businesses, you know, to really understand that for sustainability, businesses are not supposed to be only about profit, but to also take cognizance of the people and the planet. Healthy workforce are vital for the business, for any business continuity. The crisis had forced us to look really into our physical and mental health as equally important in fighting the pandemic, and actually beyond the pandemic. We've seen people trying to go back and look for all kind of remedies to try and strengthen their immune system, and sharing, you know, ideas on how to enhance each other's mental wellness. Last but not least, very importantly, this crisis has forced us to realize that all of us need all of us, and everyone has something to give. So as we forge ahead in our fight against this pandemic, let's do so with humanity at the core. Diabulela, enkosi.
Thank you.
Siyabulela, Sisi. Thank you so much for that, for that powerful closing. I love that when you say all of us need all of us. You know, they say no man is an island, and I think you are absolutely right, Luka. COVID has completely exposed that, and no matter how strong you are, one way or the other, COVID has disrupted all of us, especially mentally and emotionally. Especially in South Africa when we were at level 5, where we were not seeing our families, we were not seeing anyone, we were not allowed to leave the house. You know, our houses became our workplaces, school place, place of worship, you know, sports ground, it became everything. And in those moments, we were empathizing with those who don't have the luxury to go in another room with other person in another room, people who live in very small houses where all of us are together. So it really, humanity is, it's really, for me, humanity is the foundation of all of these pillars. Without that, then we are completely lost. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I think we have come to the end of the formal part of our agenda. The next part is really Q&A. So I think we are small enough to, you know, to do this seamlessly. If you're comfortable with posting your question on the chat, do so. If you want to unmute yourself and speak up with your question or contribution, do so, but please keep it brief. But I think we're small enough to allow, you know, if you want to speak, unmute yourself, contribute, ask questions, anything that may have been covered by any of the speakers above, or anything that you still want to understand about female wave of change, something that is still not clear for you, whether it's how you join us, how you collaborate with us, whether it's in any of the pillars, whether it's the stuff that we've done before, whether it's, you know, the stuff that we want to focus on. Now is the time to engage with us, connect with us. Let's have a dialogue. I'm a dialogue girl. I love having dialogue. So let's do that right here, right now. Even, you know, some of the wave makers, if you've got anything to contribute, it's all our event. If there's anything that you feel strongly that needs to be shared, this is the moment to do it. All the formality is gone. It's never formal anyway. So let's go ahead and do it. Either you raise your hand or put it on the chat, and then let's engage. Dr. Pinky, you've had your hand up for a while. I messaged you privately. I'm not sure if it was an error, but your hand has been up for a while. Okay, cool. But anyone can go, guys. Write on the chat if you're not comfortable to raise your hand, if you're not comfortable to talk. May I ask that we invite anyone who's already engaged in the SA education sector on the call to share contacts with us. Very good point, Uspavi. So Uspavi, as you would have seen, she leads the education pillar. So she's asking, please, inviting anyone who's already engaged in the SA education sector on the call to share their contacts with us so we can collaborate. As I said, we're not just here to come and talk and say, this is what we do. We're really about action, right? And every time we meet, it's about, and that is why Sophia is going to do a very important part now, after we've had that engagement, to say what are the next steps, right? That we, as the chapter, are committing to do. But let's, a challenge is there if you are, or even know somebody. So even if you are not, if you know of somebody who can help work with us, with Uspavallo in the education sector, please can you send us your contact so that we can work together. We've already said that we cannot do this alone. We've already said that we need to collaborate and need help. And for us to see the change, we ought to collaborate. So please come forth. You may not do it now, but if you think of somebody, please engage. And I think just to extend to other pillars as well, right? If you're working on an environmental project, or if you're in Department of Education, you've got some resources that you think may help us, or you project that you think you may want to collaborate with us on, please do so as well. It's not only limited to the education sector. Okay, I'm still monitoring the chat. I'm still looking at hands. And yeah, please do. So we're gonna unmute you, Dr. Pinky. Maybe your hand is still up, so we'd like to hear from you if you've got something to share with us, please. While we're waiting on anybody to come forth, I just want to say that I have not personally done the Women Leading in Change, as you said, Ostebelo, that it changes your life fundamentally. But I think just being part of this movement on its own is, for me, life-changing as well. It really pushes one to get out of their comfort zone. What I love as well is that we acknowledge that life happens to all of us. And so when I'm not in a good space to participate or to do anything, if I'm going through, there's so much support in here. I love the amount of support that we give each other. There's no pressure to do anything. If you are unable to participate for 6 months, for whatever reason, we allow you the space to do that, but we support you. Once you become part of Female Wave of Change, you are part of Female Wave of Change. There's no, whether you participate or not. And it's because of that burden that I spoke about earlier. I mean, when I joined, Tibelo and I were colleagues, and I was like, but I want to know what this thing, and it's like, what is it? I was like, no, I saw on your LinkedIn profile. And for me, it was just one word that resonated with me, and it was authenticity. Because everybody who knows me well knows that my middle name is Authenticity. And it was just that one word that resonated with me. And when I thought about it from a global perspective, I was like, wow, what an opportunity. Because for me, being authentic is something that is vital particularly for us as women. In everything that we do, if we bring our authenticity in it, then the results are just completely different, right? Everybody else is taken as they say. So authenticity for me is vital. So I just wanted to say that we are a family at Female Wave of Change. We plan things, but we also do things, sporadically. So that's how we work. So I'm not seeing any contribution, so I'm gonna jump straight to Sophia. Okay, all right.
Let's just check. There might still be other people. Pinky, I'm struggling to unmute you. If you could maybe unmute yourself, but really we'd like to encourage even the wave makers that are here, if you would like to maybe share your experience with the organization and what it has done for you. Sis Tuli, I see your face and it says to me, Sis Tuli has to say something. Please unmute yourself and contribute for us.
My name is Tulile Mthembu. I am a proud South African. I joined Female Wave of Change exactly 3 years back now. And what was profound for me, it's the connection, it's mentorship, because of course I did the cause, Women in Leading Change, and it brought about the confidence in being you. It brought about the leadership skills. And right now I'm so proud. The next speaker, Sophia, is my life coach. And she's organizing truly, because I am an entrepreneur and I've got flight of ideas, but she is pushed me, including my mentor, Yvonne Khame, and the entire interaction within the movement itself. And I'm glad I've invited somebody. She decided to actually put a number in it. Lillian, she just joined now because of all those long numbers. And I want to welcome her. And I won't coerce you to join, but listen and be there. You'll find the information that you want for yourself, because authenticity is the key word here. Yeah, much said so far. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sis Tuli. That was really beautiful. And yeah, you're right. We do that with authenticity. And you are welcome, Sisi. Thank you for joining us. Sis Tuli's guest. Thank you for joining us. I heard there are mentorship programs that people have attended so far. How do we go about attending the programs? Very good question, Pindile. I'm going to direct this question to Tips. Do you wanna answer that, Astubelo?
Thanks. Yes, thanks, Tato. Pindile, thank you for that question. So as I said in the presentation, we have a program called Women Leading in Change. And that is, it's a formalized program. It's 12 weeks, where every week there's a 2-hour session that you would attend, and we're mentored, by different speakers and mentors and coaches, from across the world. So that program is running globally. We are looking at creating a similar program for the South African, because we know that we've got so many women in our country that have got, the capability, to achieve things in their lives. And all they need is just that nudge and that push, to be able to step onto their greatness. So we will be working very hard this year on having a local one. However, prior to that, if you have the time and the funds to pay for the global one, we will then share the details for the global one, and you can register, to be able to attend that.
Thank you, Tips. I hope that it answers your question, Pindile. Mami Von, can I call? Okay, wait. There's a question about any Capetonians in the house. Are there any Capetonians in the house? I've noted you, Ospabi. Okay, I see a hand there. You're from Cape Town. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I'm just here to basically see how we can form a Cape chapter.
Yay! That's what I want to hear. We're branching into the Western Cape. Fantastic. That is great. Thank you so much. Please can you engage with us? We'd like to connect with you and then talk about how we can do that. So if you can send us your details, and then we will definitely connect with you. I think that's a very important thing. We want to make an impact in the world. We want to make an impact everywhere where we can in South Africa. So we already have those two jobs from the Free State. And we still need to work on making that an official, in the Free State, our presence in Free State. And we want to be everywhere. We want to mushroom everywhere in the country. So really, really thank you, and challenging everyone else who's joining from other provinces to also come forth and work with us to do that. I promise you, it's not terrifying. It is fun, it is rewarding. Well, let me speak for myself. It's rewarding, it's fulfilling. So yes, please look forward. Sis Bobby.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. It's always good to be here. Oh yes, we're going to Cape Town. I always say anything that starts in Johannesburg has to go to Cape Town next, and then the rest of, it's like those two cities are very important in South Africa. So we're looking forward to celebrating the opening of the Cape Town chapter. That gets me very excited. But what I wanted to really say is that the Women Leading in Change is such an important program. And I was fortunate enough to be part of the first team that went through the program. And I remember sitting and asking myself, what are the prerequisites? Do I need a PhD to attend? Do I need a matric certificate to attend? And it was just that I needed to be myself. There needed to be no formalized kind of education background that needed to do. But what it did for me was just to help me see who I really am. It's personalized. And I know somebody asked about coaching and mentoring. And often we go around, picking or being referred to mentors. But what I found when I was a participant in the Women Leading in Change program is that your mentor you shape your relationship through the training based on life experience, based on those educational qualifications and everything else that you would like to do moving forward. And that becomes the glue that right from the beginning, the mentorship relationship is based on. So I really, really would like to encourage anyone who can spend 2 hours a week to enroll in that program. And what it did for me now on a more practical level, I had always had this idea that, storytelling is good. And I had a few notes that, were scribbled here and there, but my finding the right mentor during the program helped me within a year after attending to publish my first book. And I know that had it not been for me meeting with the women at the Female Leading in Change and attending that program, those scripts would still be lying somewhere in my drawers on my computer, because they were there, the story was there. It was almost completed. But I needed that nudge. I needed someone to wake me up at 3 a.m. and say, how's the writing going? And that was Mami Yvonne for me. So I'm not scaring anyone from her, but I'd wake up in the morning and say, oh, how's the writing going? I'm thinking, ish, yeah, I haven't done it this week, but I have to do something before I give her a response. And I enjoyed that, but the relationships kind of, navigate, they take their own way, and the results are tangible. And I'm speaking for myself, but I know that there are many of us on this call as well who can attest to that the mentorship, the training of that particular program helps us not only to become more authentic than we think we really are, but to know ourselves better and to achieve the very goals that we thought we had shelved or they were impossible to attain. To have that helping nudge to say, you can do it, and now is the time to do it. You don't have to shelve it anymore. Let's do it. Let's hold your hand. Let's go through it together. And so that is just my share on the Women Leading in Change and what it has done for me, but also to say on the education pillar, which I'm responsible for, one of the immediate plans is to visit schools, because we realize that some of the challenges escalate from growing up. And I have taken that as a nudge area for me to say, how do we help our youth while they're still at schools, where they're still impressionable, focus on leading better lives, instead of allowing them to, for life to take them in mostly hateful detours and then try and correct that later, which happens unfortunately with most adults, especially in our South African context now. So if there's anyone who would like to nominate a school, we're trying to open the debate session. We're trying to empower girls in particular. We're trying to sponsor books. We're trying to, bring in more partners, social development, and all these people to say, here are the challenges. Let's try and catch them at home before they escalate into bigger challenges and we have more hurting adults in our communities. Thank you, Tata. So that was my...
Yes, thank you. It was very important to mention that. I've noted you, Mami Yvonne. So thank you for that contribution. You know, when you mentioned that little nudge and little push and meeting other people, you actually reminded me of the conference here in South Africa, the global conference. I mean, I left that conference and I was going to a family gathering that weekend, and I said, I had never seen anything like that. Most of the conferences is just all talk. And we've got this and this, there may be a call to action, but it ends there. But in this conference, it was so powerful that it happened right then and there. It was, I need this. Somebody from the other table jumped and said, I can help, I can help, I can help. You connect with this one live during the conference. It was amazing and powerful. I've never seen anything like that. So for me, these are opportunities, the networking opportunities that Tebello mentioned earlier that exist in this very movement. Mami Yvonne, over to you quickly, and then we'll jump to Sophia if there's no other contributions.
Okay, thank you so much, Tato. I think both Tebello and Thuli have shared the real experience and gave their testimonials. But I just wanted to encourage and inspire everyone that the very first module of the Women Leading in Change program is very deep. And it helps you as an individual to go deeper. The model that we use is a tree of life. And a tree of life assists you to find your true self, to deal with your true self. You start with the roots, Tato, to say, why do you do what you do the way you do now? What happened to you in your history, your upbringing, the values that were entrenched, even things that happened before your death, before your birth. Like in Mami Yvonne's story, for instance, when I share my story, my parents lost so many children, 4 children before me. So my conception was already full of anxiety, was already full of uncertainty. But on the other hand, and thank God, my grandmother was a praying woman who said, this child who's coming is a girl and her name is Busisiwe, and I'm gonna pray that she lives. So it's all those things, and you look at the good, the bad, and the ugly that shaped you from grassroots. Then you go to the stem of a tree in your journey. Who influenced you? Who touched your life? Your teachers, the pastors, the churches, the women that we've spoken about. And as a South African, my stem was a mantra, a clear agenda, whether by women or men, that amandla awethu, and we shall be free. So in everything that I did, I had that hope that, you know what, things will change. I might not have the boot joys like other students or fashionable things, but let me focus on education and be healthy and have values and respect myself as a young woman. But what I've experienced in that journey is that the more we share stories, the more we find what unites us more than what divides us. And we learn from each other. And I'd like to conclude by saying, sharing stories and telling stories does three things. Self-discovery. You discover yourself by listening to others. You discover yourself by searching deeper, by looking at your past, the stories that shaped you, the stories that gave you a stem, the stories that gave you branches, the stories that gave you the flowers, your unique self, and that helps. But also, it alerts you of what needs to change in your life. It also helps you to take action, be creative, be innovative, to do the new things that you've never even thought about. As you have said, you've listened to Tibello said, I took a bold decision that work is not my space. You've heard Babalo saying, I have this story to tell, and I got the courage and the confidence and the support to be an author, and now she's a published author. And you've heard from Tuli, and those who know Tuli is a survivor of a very complex cancer of the colon. So part of our journey was to inspire healing, that take the responsibility as a good doctor. And being a good doctor to yourself is about cleaning the clutter. Research tells us that all cancer patients, about 60%, there is an emotional issue that they need to deal with. So if you go deeper into things, and then you become okay. But there's something extraordinary that you're listening to each other's stories and telling your story does. It affirms what you've already been thinking about, and you get the courage that, oh, now I know I'm a great teacher. Oh, now I know I can write. Now I know that my thoughts, my attitude, my behavior, and my actions are aligned to my true self, to the reason why I was born. So if you join the Women Leading in Change, I'll be assured that it is such a transformational experience, but it will also clarify your vision, the reason why you are here. And not only that, you get all sorts of skills, becoming your authentic self. You get mentors there. You get supports about the value of networking, and the list is endless. Must conclude by saying that it is such a rich offering, and most of the things that you get there from diverse experience and committed teachers, they are not written in any textbooks or in any encyclopedia. They are in their hearts. We lead from our hearts.
Wow.
Sure.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Mami Yvonne. I think if anybody had doubts about Women Leading in Change program, now they know exactly what it's about. It looks like there's a lot in store to learn. Thank you for that, Mami Yvonne. I'm gonna, systems, I've noted you. I'm gonna offer Dr. Pinky again an opportunity. I think you are back now. If you want to contribute something, if you had a question, I'm not sure what you had, but your hand was up. Please use this opportunity.
Oh, good afternoon, and thank you very much for allowing me into the session. I've just been technologically challenged, and the whole the whole meeting went without me seeing you, and I'm only seeing you now. So anyway, my contribution is that for now, I've never really heard of Women of Change, and I wanted to find out, is it not possible maybe to go to the media like the SABC and get some ladies to be interviewed as to, you know, what is your mission and so on, because I know Tuli Mtembu, and I think she joined 3 years ago, but I never knew she was a part of this. Dr. Maneli, I never knew she was a part of this. So I'd just like to know, is there any other way you can advertise yourself? But for the meantime, I will email the ambassador for the rest of the information. Thank you.
Thank you so, so much. And she's actually next, so she will answer the media question. You go, Tips.
Sis Pinky, thank you very much. Sis Pinky is also an old golf buddy of mine. I hope we'll meet again on the golf course soon, Sis Pinky. Yes, we would love if any of you can help us to get to contact with the media. None of us are media people. None of us we've tried, various connections in the media. If there's ways that you can help us to be able to share this message in the country, we would love to hear from anyone that can be able to do that. When we did the conference in 2019, we really, really struggled, to get the message out, into the country. So we would love to. There's a lot that we can be able to share, so that we get more women, even men, who also want to see the change happening in our country, and obviously positively contributing. We would love to be able to connect with them. So anyone that can send our information or contact, any of the wave makers that are here so that we can be able to move forward, we'd love that. And that for me is where this concept of the wave comes in. We may not know certain people or have contacts, you have them together, we create, the wave. We don't have to have all the answers. So anyone that can help and support us, we'd really love to see that happening. Thank you so much, Dr. Pinky.
Thank you.
Your hand was up, Tips, before the question.
My hand as well was up before the question. So what I wanted to say is, we are talking a lot about, the program Women Leading in Change. As I've indicated, there's the global one. For those that are going to be working in the education team, we will strongly, be working hard on creating a local program. And as we work on it, we will obviously be continuing to communicate with you about the development of that program. We're probably looking at about August, September to be launching it, because we don't want to do, just launch it for the sake of launching. It has to be at the right quality. However, beyond the program, I wanted to say to everybody, you are involved in something, you are connected in something, or you've been wanting to do something to either help young women or to help other ladies, whether they are based in Gauteng or somewhere else. Let's engage with you. Obviously the training and the mentoring is one element, but how we are going to create the wave, you saw in what we have achieved, we had achieved in 2018 and 19, how we are going to grow this wave is for us to be able to connect in other elements. There was an NGO in 2019 when we started that we were very close with, that was helping women that wanted to get off the streets and change their lives. And we worked with them, and actually quite a number of those women and the young boys that used to be on the street actually moved on to a point where they changed their lives. And why did they do that? Because of the types of quality of women that we have here, that when there were conversations or coaches or motivational sessions that were happening, they would come to us and we would go and share our knowledge and expertise and motivation with them. So there are there is no script with Female Wave of Change that says we only work in this space. We will create the scripts together. So I really want to encourage you, share with us what you do, who you are, how we can be able to work with you. Somebody got upset with me. They're saying that I took, the glory from them. So I'm going to keep quiet, but I just wanted us to say it's beyond the training. There's much more that we can do together. Thank you, Tato.
I wonder who that is. Thank you. So there's now two Leratos. I'll start with Lerato without the surname because you were first, and then I'll come to you, Lerato Sihole. Go ahead, Lerato. You are on mute. Are you unmuting us?
Lerato, if you can you unmute yourself?
Should we try and jump to the other Lerato Sihole and then we'll come back to the other Lerato?
No problem. Actually, I wanted to say I have invited the other Lerato.
Oh,
So,
that's nice.
Yes, and I want to say thanks to Tibelo for mentioning that, because I think that's why Lerato wanted to share maybe her side of the story. And I want to say thanks to Dr. Lumka Maneli for making sure that she always sends me like the invite so that I can share with the ladies that I know they are doing a lot of great things out there who are not maybe going to be known by many, because they do these things like not people being aware of them. So Lerato, I was very happy with what she is starting, and then I said come in, and then maybe she can just learn something from the group as well. And then she did say she will join. Unfortunately today I could not even listen to Dr. Maneli because my network was so bad. I had to change the other phones. Unfortunately now I'm here, and I want to say to again Sis Babalo, what she said, it really touched me, because really I feel like I also have been taking for granted the importance of having a mentor. So that really said something. Actually, whenever she says something, it's like she is pointing that message to me. So yes, I'm grateful for that. So I can't wait now for Lerato to share what she is doing so that she can get that support. But in future, I so wish that COVID can just stop being jealous, because I would like to collect more women where when you have such events, I can take them to a place where they can have a better Wi-Fi connection, so that because I know the group we can have thousands and thousands of people listening to these important messages, but we cannot ignore the fact that some people have been affected by this COVID. For them to even have that data, it's a serious problem to listen to such important information. And I feel like, you know what, I know so many people who can benefit from this kind of groups. So yes, I'm glad Lerato managed to do it, because there was another Lerato in another event that you had, I think it was last month. So she's a teacher as well. She's doing great stuff. I said, come, listen. And unfortunately, during the week, I could not get hold of her to come and attend this one.
Thank you so much, Lerato. That is really powerful. And it is true, right? It is true that we've got a lot of people out there who do amazing work. And, you know, we've got no way of reaching them or connecting with them. But we appreciate people like you who are always trying to connect others with us and the work that we do. In the interest of time, I'm going to give you very short time, Lerato, so that we can move. I do want to close. I want us to leave the meeting promptly at 4 o'clock as promised. So Lerato, if you are still able to, please go ahead. And then this is the last contribution we will take, then we'll move on to you, Sophia. You are on mute, Lerato.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Perfectly fine, thank you.
Oh, hello. This is Lerato Makubu. Thank you so much. I've got my family here trying to help me to unmute and talk. And
thank you, family.
Yes, thank you so much, Bito Lerato, for introducing me. I really appreciate. And thank you so much again, Dr. Lumka, for having a chat with me during the week. I am a mother of 3, and for the longest time, there have been something in my heart. I'll just say the Holy Spirit spoke to me about the boys that are on the streets. I have been for more than 3 years seeing same boys north, you know, and I'll talk to them. I'll realize that they're from the location. Some of them are from the East End where I'm coming from, and they're on the streets. And I got to know that their parents at home are staying alone. So I realized that the enemy is fighting our seed. Those are our boys, those are our seed, those are our protectors. But then busy strategy and they're every day high. I registered a company called Elengos Men. Elengos meaning the glory of God, because I believe after everything that has been done, definitely they'll come back to us, they'll come to be our protectors. So I got to speak to Dr. Lumka briefly about my dream that I'd love to realize. And unfortunately, there have been some issues here and there into getting assistance or an ear from the government. And it has been such a knock. However, I am glad to meet all of you today, ladies, to hear and to listen and to learn. And I really hope that one day we'll all meet by God's grace after all this, and we can just share fully as to what is happening. I don't know if I made sense. I'm so sorry. It's my first time to engage like this. I'm not sure if you see me or hear me, but yeah.
Thank you, Lerato. It was beautiful. Thank you. And really commend you on the work that you do. I believe that there's a lot of work that needs to be done with young boys, with boys in general, and how we raise them. We have so many expectations of grown-up men, but how we raise them when they're still young boys is different. And I'm not going to get into that, but I'm going to encourage you to look at the 5 pillars that Dr. Lumka presented and see how you can learn your work with the 5 pillars and how you can work with us, because that's exactly what we want. We want to collaborate, we want to work together, and we want to make an impact. The key word is really an impact. It's not talk, but we want to see things change. We want to see the wave moving all the time. Sophia, are you ready, my sister?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lerato.
Thank you. What do I do now to unmute?
Go for it, Sophia. Sophia is one of the wave makers, my fellow colleagues. So she's going to talk to us about the next steps from this meeting.
Sister Bella, can you please share on my behalf?
I will, but as you know, when young people are around, I want to give them the platform to do things for themselves.
We'll get it right next time, don't worry. So my name is Sophia, as Tato has already said. I'm a wave maker. I would like to welcome especially those who are joining us for the first time. First thing that I will say is that we all know that a wave cannot be defeated or controlled in its own territory. Same goes to a woman who is decided in the change, who is decided to be the change she wants to see, a woman who is aligned in her values, a woman who is clear on her vision and her mission, and a woman who is confident in her authentic self. And this is what Female Wave of Change is all about. And this takes me back to 2019 in September, when I was invited by a friend to come and attend the physical conference that we had in Joburg. And in saying that, I feel so much gratitude, because that conference changed my life. Because in that conference, a wave took place, a wave happened, and my life was never the same after that. So this is what Female Wave of Change is all about. It's a platform, you know, that supports you as a woman. It's a platform that helps you, that encourages you as a woman to be the leader that you are born to be. Because as leaders, more than being taught how to lead, more than being taught how to be leaders, we are natural born leaders. We just need to tap into that feminine leadership. We just need to learn how to be our authentic self and allow ourselves to be what we were born to be. So, so much has been shared, basically, and which left me with not a lot of work to do. So sharing the next steps, as Tibelo has already said, our ambassador, that for you to be part of us, there is no membership fee required. Basically, there is no hustle. What we need from whoever that comes forward and says, I want to be part of this organization, we need your commitment. You need to be willing, you know, to support. You need to be willing to participate, because it is not enough to say I'm part of an organization, but what is your contribution to the organization? And also not forgetting that participating and committing also comes with the level of willingness. You need to be willing to learn as well. You need to be willing. You need to be willing to be taught. You need to be willing to be directed and given instructions. As you have seen that we have levels, we have ambassadors, we have wave makers, we have leaders in specific pillars. So you need to be willing to collaborate and work together with them. So it has already been mentioned that our biggest aim, our biggest goal this year in 2021 is to move beyond Gauteng and expand, you know, to other territories. South Africa is big, so we don't want Female Wave of Change to be existent only in Gauteng, but we want it to be everyone. And I'm very happy that we had someone from Cape Town offering, you know, to help us set us Female Wave of Change in Cape Town. It will be very amazing to have more people coming in as wave makers and help us, you know, establish this great work, this organization in those specific areas. How we get together, obviously, because of now the COVID restrictions and all of that, going forward, our monthly meetings are going to be virtual. So obviously, we have the global meeting where everyone who is within the Female Wave of Change organization, including the global as well as the local, we meet once in a month. We will also have virtual meetings for us, the South African team. So the meetings will be virtually, and they will be shared prior, so that everyone is able to check their schedules and avail themselves as needed. So what we are planning to have as well for this year, as Dr. Lumka has already shared, the 5 pillars, the health, the education, the humanity, the economy and environment. So leaders within those specific pillars will obviously have activities and events that they are planning to take place this year, and this will be shared on a scheduled basis in terms of when we're going to have these events, in terms of what the activities are going to be. And I would like to encourage, as they've already said, that we do need people to join us within these pillars, because one person can do something, but together we can achieve more. Great ideas, you know, come to reality when we're working together. So we are also looking at pursuing partnerships for long and short-term relationships, as Lerato was sharing what she's doing. This is what we are looking for. You know, we are not a selfish organization. We are an organization that wants to make change. And if making that change means us collaborating with whatever organization, being part of whatever event, this is what we are all about. So please do let us know what you are doing in your own areas. If there's any collaboration that you think we can together be part of to make the change. And regarding the Women Leading in Change transformational journey, already a lot has been shared regarding this, so I will not say much about this, but as soon as the South African one, the local one is launched, I believe that our ambassador will be sharing that with everyone, those within the organization and those who are not. So it will be an open invitation for everyone. So the most important part is how you can get hold of us, how you can contact us, connect with us. So we are on Facebook at FOC Africa. We are also on LinkedIn at Female Wave of Change. We are on Instagram at FOC _org. We are also on Twitter at FOC _org. And then our email address for the Global Female Wave of Change is info@femalewaveofchange.com. And for the local one, this is our ambassador's email address, debello@femalewaveofchange.com. So please get involved. If you have further questions of what does it mean to be a wave maker, what are your responsibilities, what are your duties, we are more than willing to share the information and to answer whatever question that you have. So this is basically it from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sophia. Very tangible next steps, and I hope that you saw the contact details of how to get in touch with us. We have come to the end of today's session. Yes, do you want to project it? So I want to request, I will do that at the end. Let me just quickly wrap up. So as we wrap up, I want to thank everybody who has contributed here today. As I said, again, your time, listening in, contributions, your energy, your enthusiasm, and your, just looking forward to working with us. We're really hoping to make the waves felt. We want everybody to feel our waves this year, and that's our commitment, and that's what we want to do. So as we step into tomorrow, as we step outside of this session, I want us to challenge ourselves to be the ones who bring light. Let us be the ones who bring hope to those who have lost it all. And we've all mentioned the implications of COVID. Some of us have lost our loved ones. Some of us have lost our jobs. Some of us have lost our homes. Some of us have lost, a lot, our sanity. So we want to be the ones who bring hope to those who've lost anything, really. Let us be the ones who bring inspiration to those that we encounter in our daily lives, to those that we cross paths with. With a little that you may have, seek to build where it is broken. Seek to work with us to reshape for a better world. As I wrap up after what I've said, I want to challenge everyone now, this is everyone on this call. On a chat box, I want you to type one word that for you represents, you've seen what Female Wave of Change is. You've seen the efforts of the South African chapter. You've seen what the stuff that we want to focus on. As you look at those things and the challenges that we've made for one another here, one word that for you describes how we move forward. I want it to be one word from each and every one of us. What I'm going to attempt to do is, after this session, I'm going to write a paragraph, which is going to be our statement of, the work that we're going to do, using all of these single words that all of us are going to contribute to right now. So including myself, I want to see everybody's one word on the chat. Wave makers, ambassadors, wise women, everyone, one word that represents how we move forward to bring the change to make this world a better place for all of us. I see impact, robust, action. I love that most of these are doing words. Awareness, resilience, presence, greatness with humility. You know, only an author can come up with 3 words while I asked for 1. Versatility, enthusiasm, determination. Yeah, I love these words. So I hope that I'll be able to get access to these, you know, all of these words, because I am going to create a paragraph, and a paragraph would be, you know, in action word to say, we undertake to do this, 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 to make this. So I'm going to use all of these powerful, great words that are here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for allowing me into your space. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for allowing me to, you know, to be led by you. As we close, we're gonna ask, please, 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 everyone to switch on their cameras. We wanna take a picture. We're gonna create those memories. So it's just for 10 seconds. Myself and Ustibelo are gonna try and capture beautiful pictures, and then we can have it on record that on this day, a wave was created for 2021. Yes, so that because you may have a different view. Not everybody's on camera.
We need everybody on camera.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, Lesego, noted.
Don't exit, Lesego, you're just not on camera. Stay with us.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. You may switch off if you're uncomfortable. So on that note, do you want to introduce the Kenya thing? We don't have it. I don't have it here. So as we said, we are truly a global community, and we are always doing some work somewhere in the world. We are always riding a wave somewhere in the world. So as we leave, we just want to share tonight, this evening, there is an event in Kenya by the Kenya chapter that they're raising awareness, and they're talking about the female genital mutilation. They want to put an end to that. So it's some of the horrible things that are happening in the world. We know that in the Eastern Africa, some of those things still happen, where there is mutilation of, you know, of the female, you know, gender stuff. So we want to encourage you, if you are able to join them. We're trying to put up the poster with information on that. If you have time, just pop in and see what is happening on the other chapters globally from a female wave of change. There we go. So thank you so much. So this is the poster. It's got the information. If you can't, so maybe just take a picture of it so that you have the link to the Zoom link to the event. As I said, it's happening Eastern time, 1800. What is it in South African time?
So in South African time, that would be now at 1700. Yeah, at 5 p.m. As Tato says, ladies and gentlemen, these are the kind of initiatives that we get involved in the various countries. So depending on what the interest or where the key message is in that country, you know, this is the work that is being done. For example, in our country, we know that on June 16, we're definitely going to do something for the young people. On Women's Day, so we also try and work with some of the key days, you know, in our local calendar. So we're able to bring the message. Today is the International Day of Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation, because this is still a very big issue in Kenya. They will be having a conversation about what communities can do to be able to end, you know, this terrible exercise that is still taking place in that country. It could be anything in our country. It could be Human Rights Day. It could be the Youth Day. So this is the kind of work we'll be doing. As we finalize the agenda or the schedule for 2021, we will also be sharing that with you so that you're able to participate. Or if you have events where you would like us to come and participate and share the message of Female Wave of Change, please also do so, because we don't have to be the ones that are creating, as everybody has said. We can partner and work with you on what you already have, as long as the message of the work that we are doing and the mission of what Female Wave of Change wants to achieve, they are in line and they are in sync. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. It is exactly 1600 and we started promptly at 1400. So we will end promptly at 1600. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Looking forward to see all of you. So next month on the same date, 6 March, please note it, 6 March, we will confirm the time we are planning to meet. And that is now where we start to implementation start, action. There was a lot of action that I saw on One World. So we start to talk action. The pillar leaders are going to engage. We're going to start having those initiatives on motion. So we will meet in a month's time. But thank you for today. Thank you for your contribution and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And please be safe out there.
Thank you so much to you. Great, grounded, gorgeous program.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. Love and lights.
Bye.
We will all create the wave. We will be creating the wave in the country.
Yes.
And we look forward to making that wave together with you.
Yes.
Together we will be making the wave.
Let it be.
Bye.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Could I just ask the wave makers to stay on if they haven't left? So the team members, if you can just stay on. Where's Pablo? But anyway.
Oh, yeah, she's left.
Team, thank you.
Oh, is it just the operations, the people?
Yes, yes, I'm just looking for the operations team.
Okay, thank you so much. You are amazing. This was so good.
It was amazing. Thank you, Mami Yvonne.
Thank you, thank you. That's all I'm going to say, thank you. We now have to, we've created the small wave and the people are ready to have the wave growing. Let's go make it grow. Thank you so much for your support, for your participation, for everything that you've done to make this a success. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you for your leadership. Up tips.
Yes, leader. Leader, my leader.
It was really wonderful. It was really, it was really wonderful. And I mean, I think Lerato is saying something, you know, you will undermine the fact that people want to be involved in these things, but the data issue. I know some of them really that would have wanted to, and even those who eventually got the data, they've been sending me that now connection dololo. Others storms and it's raining heavily, so they just don't have any connection. And but I think with the number of people we have, we've really planted the seed, and it is going to really move across.
Indeed.
What's left is for us to also, I think, really motivate and encourage each other, because as other people come in, they need to find really people who are enthusiastic and motivated. And I'm just hoping when others join us, we not still try to still explain things to the people who've been here for quite some time, where now we have people who are just joining in, getting what this is all about, and we have been with us for a while who's still not getting it. I think it came across so clear today what the movement is all about.
Very clear, very clear. Yeah.
So who's MST 3200? Don't know who that is.
I'm not sure.
Sophia, please come on video. I want to see this to your face.
I'm eating. My baby is hungry.
Sophia, I am so proud of you.
Yeah.
This is female. Ladies, if ever we wondered what female wave of change was about, Sophia for me today is just a great example of what this organization is about. Thank you so much. And thanks to the
Thank
baby
you.
for hanging on until we finish.
Hey,
have to rush to
Wara,
my baby.
Thank you.
Wow.
We'll talk on
Thank
the WhatsApp group in terms of the next steps, but I think the key things for me will be the recording of the session will be sent to everybody that was in the session, so that at least, you know, they're able to still listen to it. And then I'll set up some time for us to meet this week as a group all together, so that we're able to say, okay, next steps, let's move forward.
I want my words.
Are you going to use emails, Austivelo? Because I'm just thinking, since most people didn't really register, how are you going to?
What we'll do is I'll make the link available. I'll send it to us in the group and email, and then we will send it through. However, but thank you everybody.
Thank you,
Look
ladies.
at what the teamwork has managed to get us. Oh, I'm so proud.
Yay.
Thank you.
I have to go back to my son. Bye.
Bye.
Say hello to him. Say hello.
All right, thanks. Bye-bye.